Amber's daughter rejects her again in new Teen Mom, the next chapter trailer. In the world of reality television, certain storylines linger long after the cameras stop rolling. Few have been as emotionally gripping or as polarizing as the journey of Amber Portwood. A staple figure in the Teen Mom franchise since its inception, Amber's life has unfolded in front of millions. From young motherhood and public breakdowns to prison sentences and mental health revelations, her trajectory has been nothing short of turbulent. Now in the latest trailer for Teen Mom, the next chapter, a fresh yet hauntingly familiar emotional wound reopens. The trailer reveals a deeply personal moment. Amber's daughter, Leah, once again rejects her mother's efforts to reconnect. It's a moment that reverberates with the same raw vulnerability fans have come to associate with Amber. The scene doesn't need dramatic music or heightened editing to make its impact. It's the reality of strained mother-daughter ties laid bare. To understand the gravity of Leah's rejection, it's important to trace the history between Amber and her daughter. Leah, now a teenager, was born during Amber's original run on 16 and Pregnant, later evolving into Teen Mom OG. Those early years were marked by Amber's struggles with anger management, substance abuse, and legal issues. She served time in prison and went through a number of unstable relationships, many of which played out publicly. Amber has always been candid about her battles, particularly with bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. Despite moments of apparent progress, therapy sessions, court-mandated programs, and open admissions about her failings, her relationship with Leah, who lives with her father Gary Shirley and his wife Christina, has remained precarious. As Leah grew older, her awareness of the chaos in her early years sharpened. Viewers saw a shift. The little girl who once called Amber Mommy became a reserved, cautious teenager who maintained emotional distance. Leah's reluctance to engage with Amber wasn't just a passing teenage phase. It was a deeply rooted defense mechanism born out of trauma and disappointment. In the new trailer, Amber is seen trying once again to mend the broken bridge between her and her daughter. Her voice carries a mixture of hope and fragility. It's clear she wants another chance. However, Leah's rejection comes with finality. It's not an outburst of anger. It's a calm, mature boundary being drawn. For Amber, that boundary cuts like a knife. The rejection may not have surprised longtime viewers, but it still hit hard. Amber's reaction, though not fully shown in the trailer, can be inferred. Her face a mask of pain, her posture collapsing inward. There's an overwhelming sense of helplessness in knowing you've lost your child's trust, and even more so when that moment is preserved on national television for all to see. As the trailer circulated online, fans flooded social media with reactions. Many expressed sympathy for Leah, acknowledging the immense maturity and emotional intelligence it takes for a teen to prioritize her mental health in such a situation. Others were more conflicted, empathizing with Amber's visible efforts to change, but lamenting the lingering consequences of her past behavior. Some viewers took a hardline stance. Actions have consequences, and Amber's history of instability and absence cannot be erased by a few seasons of relative calm. Others pointed out the courage it takes to own up to one's mistakes, especially on a public stage, and to keep fighting for a relationship even when it seems hopeless. Regardless of where viewers stood, one sentiment remained universal. The moment was heartbreaking. Rebuilding trust is never easy, and for Amber, the road has been longer and rockier than most. She's attempted numerous times to reconnect with Leah, often expressing remorse and a desire to be present. However, trust broken in childhood is not easily restored in adolescence. Leah has grown up under the protective watch of Gary and Christina, who have given her the stability Amber could not. Over the years, Amber has publicly clashed with Christina, which likely further complicated Leah's willingness to engage. Children are intuitive, and they absorb the emotional tensions around them. For Leah, any reconnection likely feels like opening a wound she's worked hard to heal. Amber, meanwhile, appears to be stuck in a cycle, yearning for closeness, making progress, then regressing in moments of emotional volatility. The trailer's focus on this latest chapter in their strained dynamic underscores that even years of growth cannot immediately erase the impact of earlier mistakes. What makes Amber's situation more difficult than most is the presence of cameras at every turn. While many parents deal with estrangement in private, Amber's parenting has been publicly dissected for over a decade. The constant exposure adds a layer of pressure and judgment that would be difficult for anyone to withstand. In recent interviews, Amber has acknowledged this burden. She's expressed regret for many of her earlier actions and has stated that her goal is simply to be a consistent, healthy presence for her children. She's also the mother of a son, James, from a later relationship, and has attempted to apply the lessons learned with Leah in raising him. Yet the audience remains divided. Some believe Amber is genuinely evolving. Others view her efforts with suspicion, questioning whether her motivations are pure or performative. For Leah, that question may not even matter anymore. She's no longer a child needing a caregiver, she's a young woman choosing peace. Reality television thrives on redemption arcs, and Amber's has been a long, winding one. From drug court programs to writing books about her recovery, she has tried to reclaim her narrative. But redemption in the eyes of viewers is not the same as redemption in the eyes of your child. Leah's rejection challenges the neatly packaged narrative of recovery. It's a reminder that healing doesn't always lead to happy endings. Sometimes, healing means accepting that relationships may never return to what they once were, or what we hoped they would be. For Amber, this realization may be the hardest of all. Her efforts may be sincere, but sincerity doesn't automatically result in reconciliation. Leah's decision to keep her distance isn't about punishment, it's about self-preservation. Throughout the franchise, Gary Shirley has often been portrayed as a stabilizing force, especially during Amber's lowest moments. His wife, Christina, has taken on a maternal role for Leah, providing the structure and affection Amber struggled to give. Their household has been the anchor in Leah's life, and it's no surprise that her loyalties lie there. Amber has at times criticized Christina publicly, calling her a homewrecker, or claiming she was trying to replace her. But over time, those outbursts have lessened, possibly as Amber began to see Christina not as a rival, but as someone who truly cared for her daughter. Still, the tension lingers. In trying to reclaim her space in Leah's life, Amber is navigating a blended family dynamic where her presence can sometimes feel like an intrusion rather than a return. For Leah, stability has already been achieved without her mother, and disrupting that stability is not worth the emotional cost. As teen mom, the next chapter progresses, viewers will likely see more of Amber's emotional journey following Leah's rejection. Will she accept the boundary with grace, or will old patterns reemerge? That question looms large. Her response could define the next phase of her redemption arc, or dismantle it entirely. There is, perhaps, a way forward for Amber, but it may require a shift in her goals. Instead of trying to win Leah back, she may need to focus on simply being consistent. Trust isn't earned through grand gestures, but through quiet reliability. Maybe the cameras will catch that in time. It's also likely that her relationship with her son James will take on new focus. Having a chance to do things differently with him could be redemptive in a different way. But even then, she must walk a careful line, proving she's changed without using one child to make up for her mistakes with another. Amber and Leah's fractured relationship isn't just a personal tragedy. It's emblematic of a larger truth about parenting, trauma, and recovery. It challenges the oversimplified narratives of healing often portrayed on television. It reminds us that some wounds don't close easily. That trust isn't a switch you can flip. That love, while powerful, is sometimes not enough. For viewers who followed Amber since 2009, Leah's rejection isn't just about one mother-daughter duo. It's a mirror reflecting how time changes us, how forgiveness is a process, and how even the most televised lives are not immune to heartbreak. Amber Portwood's journey has been long, messy, and public. Her latest chapter, marked by her daughter's continued rejection, is a sobering reminder that not all efforts to change result in reconciliation. Yet there is power in persistence. There is grace in accepting boundaries. And there is dignity in continuing to strive, even when the outcome remains uncertain. As the season unfolds, fans will watch to see not just what happens,